Hello, YouTubers. Thomas Townley here. Getting ready to record episode 9 of Multiverse Tonight. You know, that's big number 9. We're almost to double digits. Woo! It's about, if anyone is watching this, do me a favor. Just leave some little comment. You know, let me know you're out there. But if not, and this is just for general record, so be it. You know, it doesn't really matter to me. I had a good time. I took an extra day off this past week to go see Christopher Titus. You know, famous comedian. One time star of his own sitcom that he lost, and he admits that he lost it. It was no one else's fault but his. But anyway, get ready for news and a lot of obituaries. I have like 4 obituaries in this show alone. So and if the backdrop blows down, I'll probably stop. There's a cold front moving through, so we're getting wind, and I have the doors open because fall is here and it's nice and cool finally. So let's begin. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Forgot I gotta start with a cold open. It's my thing. So 5, 4. Tonight! Is Henry Cavill out as Superman? We look at the confusion. MCU's Scarlet Witch might just be a mutant after all, and the Oscars are changing. Just not this year. On this edition of Multiverse Tonight!
There are many universes out there. Welcome to the one with news about all the others. This is Multiverse Tonight. Now, here's your host, Thomas Townley.
Hello and welcome to Multiverse Tonight and episode number 9. I'd like to start off by saying a big congratulations to Henry Winkler for finally winning an Emmy after all these years. Game of Thrones won Best Drama. Thandie Newton won Supporting Actress in a Drama for Westworld. And Peter Dinklage won Supporting Actor for a Drama for Game of Thrones. And the Black Mirror's USS Callister episode got the Emmy for Television Movie. So again, congrats to all the winners. I'd like to remind you that over on our Twitch channel, I've been playing some Star Trek Online, and just to shake things up every now and then, I've been rotating in The Sims 4 as well. Feel free to join me on late Sunday or Monday nights, and if you're a player of Stowe, just feel free to join me and join our fleet. Just search for Multiverse Tonight. Now, I've told you all about our affiliate links on Amazon. Well, if I want to keep that affiliate link going, I need to show a few sales. So just go and help me out. Go to multiversetonight.com and click on the link in the sidebar of the homepage. We also have a link for mycomicshop.com and riftrax.com, and I plan on having many more associate links soon. Also, if you'd like to contribute directly, like my good friend Anne, hi Anne, go to either my Ko-Fi or Patreon donation page. You can find those links on our website. Now, thank you, and let's get on with the news. Star Wars news. This is not really news, but cheers to Mark Hamill for slowly trolling us. For the past week, Mr. Hamill has been slowly releasing a word a day via Twitter. So far, he said, "The purpose of annoying everyone daily with inane tweets is distracting." And it goes on from there. Just go look at his site or his Twitter feed, and you'll be surprised at what the last part of that message is. If you want to just win Halloween this year, and probably a few convention costume contests as well, Ruby's has just the costume for you. Now, if you've been to a con lately, you've probably seen the inflatable dinosaur costumes walking around. Now, they've come up with an inflatable Han Solo in Carbonite costume. This costume includes a battery-operated fan, as well as separate gloves and the mask. You can order it for $59.99, and it is selling out quick. I just bet you won't be able to sit down in this one. And by the way, as long as you're buying things and you're looking ahead to Christmas, there will be a new inflatable AT-M6 Gorilla Walker from The Last Jedi with a Santa hat for you to put on the lawn. This inflatable stands 8 foot tall and costs, get this, $149. You can find it at places like Home Depot. So everyone needs a giant inflatable walker on their front lawn, don't you think? Ian McDiarmid, Emperor Palpatine himself, has revealed that the Jedi slaughter caused by his ordering of General Order 66 was originally more gruesome than what was shown. Speaking at the FanX Con in Salt Lake City, the ex-Sith Lord said, quote, "I think it was a little more gruesome than you ended up seeing, you know? A lot of young potential Jedi ended up on the cutting room floor," unquote. He also recalled the discussion he had with George Lucas about the sequence. Quote, "On the other hand," George says, "that's what he's like, this guy. He's uncompromising. People should know it," unquote. Ian also told the crowd that the best scene George Lucas wrote was the scene at the opera where he turned Anakin to the dark side. He also revealed what he thought of Palpatine. Quote, "I used to refer it as just a solid block of evil with nothing at all in his background except that," he said. "He came out of the womb with a horrible thought. Whose womb might that have been? As a solid block of evil," unquote. Now, if only they'd left Jar Jar Binks as the true Phantom Menace. Lucasfilm has released a new video, and we have now been introduced to the Aces, the team of pilots that will be the stars of Star Wars Resistance. The series, which takes place before The Force Awakens, follows Kazuda Zeno, aka Kaz, a young pilot recruited by the Resistance for a top-secret mission to spy on the growing threat of the First Order. The Aces are the most seasoned veteran pilots in the series and know their reputation, with a few of the members acting more than just a little too confident in every situation. This experienced team and the oddball Team Fireball will find their missions alighting in big ways, as the video also provided key hints surrounding the rise of the First Order and the appearance of Kylo Ren's ship. Star Wars Resistance takes flight with a 1-hour premiere on Sunday, October 7th at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific Time on Disney Channel, Disney Now, and Disney Channel Video on Demand. Following its US debut, Star Wars Resistance will roll out globally on Disney channels worldwide. My listeners overseas can watch their local listings for times and dates. And if you'd like to see that video, we'll have a link to it in our show notes. Solo co-creator Jonathan Kasdan recently posted on Twitter how it's unlikely that there will be a Solo sequel. The question was, quote, "Will there ever be a sequel, cause it really seems like you guys were setting one up," unquote. He replied, "To be honest, I think the challenge was more to do with the foreign box office than the US. Personally, I think there are great Star Wars movies to be made that don't need the cost quite so much. Hopefully that will be the trend in years to come, and maybe, just maybe, that trend will allow us one way or another to tell more stories with Alden, Jonas, Amelia, and Donald. Unquote. He added that he would jump at the opportunity to work with them and Ron Howard again, but, quote, given the way Hollywood and the culture at large seem to run from anything labeled as disappointment, the odds seem like they're against it happening anytime soon. But I suppose Han wouldn't have it any other way. Unquote. It's a shame. I didn't think that movie was half bad. And speaking of John Kasdan and Solo, he has listed up 53 facts about Solo on his Twitter. We'll have a link to that list in our show notes. Now, Star Trek news. CBS All Access users will now be able to take Star Trek Discovery anywhere they go, as users will now be able to download episodes for offline viewing. However, there is a caveat, and that is you have to subscribe to the commercial-free plan, and the episodes expire after 30 days. After you start watching it, it disappears after 2 days, and you can't re-download expired videos. You can download anything from the app for online viewing, except content from local channels and sports. On a past episode, we talked about the Short Trek series of mini episodes that will be released this fall on All Access. Well, we've now learned that Rick and Morty writer Mike McMahon will be the writer on the Harry Mudd minisode titled The Escape Artist. He tweeted out a picture of the Star Trek Discovery chair with the message beaming up. Now, here's what we do know about the Short Treks. By a deadline, the synopsis and air dates for each episode, plus a preview clip from CBS that gives you an idea of what to expect in Star Trek Short Treks. The first one is called Runaway. Ensign Tilly on board the USS Discovery encounters an unexpected visitor in need of help. However, this unlikely pair may have more in common than meets the eye. This one will air on October 4th and is written by Jenny Lumet and Alex Kurtzman, as directed by Maja Revillo. The second one is called Calypso. After waking up in an unfamiliar sickbay, Kraft, Aldous Hodge, finds himself on board a deserted ship, and his only companion and hope for survival is an AI computer interface. This will air on Thursday, November 8th, and has a teleplay by Michael Chabon, with a story by Sean Cochran and Michael Chabon, and is directed by Olatunde Osunsanmi. The third is called The Brightest Star, and follows Saru. Before he was the first Kelpian to join Starfleet, Saru, Doug Jones, lived a simple life on his home planet of Kaminar with his father and sister. Young Saru, full of ingenuity and a love of curiosity uncommon among his people, yearns to find out what lies beyond his village, leading him on an unexpected path. This will air on Thursday, December 6th, and is written by Bo Yeon Kim and Erica Lepoult, and is directed by Douglas Aronofsky. Finally, The Escape Artist, Harry Mudd, Rainn Wilson, back to his old tricks of stealing and double-dealing, finds himself on a precarious position aboard a hostile ship, just in time to try out his latest con. This one airs on Thursday, January 3rd, and is directed by Rainn Wilson himself. So, one a month for 4 months. I don't think I'd subscribe for all 4 months. I'd just wait for January or late December and watch all 4 at once. That way you get the most bang for your buck. Astronomers have found an actual planet in the habitable zone of 40 Eridani A. Trek fans will know this system as the Vulcan system, home of Mr. Spock and Tuvok. The statement from the team at the Dharma Planet Survey says, quote, "The new planet is a super-Earth, orbiting the star HD 26965, which is only 16 light-years from Earth, making it the closest super-Earth orbiting another sun-like star. The planet is roughly twice the size of Earth and orbits its star with a 42-day period just inside the star's optimal habitable zone. The system actually has 3 suns. Think Tatooine solar system. 40 Eridani A is the primary star, and as a smaller star has a closer habitable zone than our own. The statement also went on to note that the Star Trek connection, quote, the orange-tinted HD 26965 is only slightly cooler and slightly less massive than our sun, is approximately the same age as our sun, and has a 10.1-year magnetic cycle, nearly identical to the sun's 11.6-year sunspot cycle, explains Merspa, who helped to commission the Dharma spectrograph on the TSU 2-meter automatic spectrographic telescope. Therefore, he adds, HD 26965 may be an ideal host star for an advanced civilization. Star Trek fans may know the star HD 26965 by its alternative moniker 40 Eridani A, says Henry, unquote. So, can we just hope that the Vulcans are on their way? Anyway, let's check out some DC news. There goes the Flash. Apparently, Henry Cavill is out as the DC Cinematic Universe's Man of Steel. Sources have told The Hollywood Reporter that Cavill, who first donned the S in 2013's Man of Steel, is out after negotiation for a cameo in Shazam broke down. Apparently, part of the cause is a swing towards a Supergirl movie instead of Superman. So only Superman in that movie would be Kal-El as an infant. Also, another project with Superman is a long ways off, and Cavill will apparently just age out of the part. The Hollywood Reporter quotes a WB studio source saying, quote, Superman is like James Bond, and after a certain run, you have to look at new actors, unquote. His name is Matt, Superman. Another source told the reporter that Warner is trying to hit a reset button on the DC universe, steering its ship slowly into another direction. All this aside, we still have no official press release from anyone about this situation, and Henry Cavill has released a cryptic video with him raising a Superman figure up into the camera and then lowering it back down. What does that mean? Who can say? So, who do you think should be the next Superman? And should they try not to go so dark with the character next time? Do you think they should just try and keep Cavill and give him a better film by himself with a better Lex Luthor? So, let's take a moment at the current DC Films lineup. First off is Aquaman, coming this December, followed in April by Shazam. Still no lightning. The Joker movie is scheduled for October 2019. Wonder Woman 1984 is set for November 2019. Hold on a second, people. Yes. Yeah. 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 Alright. Okay. Bye. Yeah, that was my brother. He has stroke not too long ago, so I've been helping him out. Sorry about that. Let's take it back a little bit. So let's take a moment to look ahead at the current DC Films lineup. First off is Aquaman, coming in December, followed in April by Shazam. The Joker movie is scheduled for October 2019. Wonder Woman 1984 is set for November 2019, and I'm betting one of those gets bumped back. The Cyborg movie is questionable. It has been aimed at April of 2020, but with all the upheaval, I could see it either scrapped or pushed back for production reasons. The remaining ones that have been announced have been The Flash, The Batman, Man of Steel 2, which looks kind of unlikely now, a Green Lantern Corps, Suicide Squad 2, Birds of Prey, The Joker and Harley Quinn movie, Jared Leto's Joker movie, Batgirl, Nightwing, Black Adam, Deathstroke, Lobo, New Gods, and Blackhawk. That's 21 projects, most of which have not gotten anywhere off the ground other than an announcement. Dear Warner Brothers and DC, you have too many irons in the fire. Pick one project, get that one done, then announce another one. I think you'll have more success that way. Speaking of DC, the DC Universe streaming service is out. I've downloaded it and I'm not really that impressed yet. They should have just waited for them to put out the Titans series or one of the other streaming series that they were preparing and have that ready at launch so they would have something. So far, it's just a lot of old content. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of good stuff from the vault, a lot of old TV shows, movies, all that stuff, but it's just not worth recommending yet. The only new to the service streaming content is their daily news show, DC Daily. The first new series, Titans, won't even come out until October 12th, so just take my recommendation, wait to use your free 7-day trial on October 12th. At least then, you can see episodes 1 and 2 and make a decision on whether you want to see the rest of it later. Me personally, I'm more interested in the Doom Patrol series, which comes out next year. Speaking of Titans, the most memorable thing about that trailer, of course, was Robin saying, "Bleep, Batman." Yeah, I thought it was kind of dumb, but it seems there was a reason for it, according to star Brendan Thwaites, who plays Dick Grayson / Robin. Thwaites told Entertainment Weekly, quote, "It's a show that isn't about Batman, and I think it's important for people to know that, and maybe not be disappointed, that they're not going to see Batman jumping from the ceiling and beating up 100 guys, because it's not Batman. It's a story about the Titans, essentially. I feel like Batman says that in 2 words," unquote. According to Thwaites, the line was thrown into a reshoot of the scene. Thwaites explained, quote, "We'd already shot that alley fight scene before, and there was no punch to it. There was no real exclamation mark. I think the producers wanted something that would kind of set the tone for the whole show," unquote. He then went on to explain that the whole show is about Dick joining the Titans and getting out of Batman's shadow and finding his own moral center. Jeff Johns, who exec produces the show, added, quote, "It's definitely a Dick Grayson that's more violent than people are used to. It's definitely a Dick Grayson that is struggling more than I think people are used to," unquote. We will see Dick deal with the new Robin, Jason Todd, played by Curran Walters. See Dick. See Dick deal. Deal, Dick. Deal. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Yeah, here's the thing. You don't need to make him a swearing badass to prove that he's trying to separate himself from Batman's shadow. It's just overkill. DC has announced that its upcoming Martian Manhunter comic series will return the character to something that should seem to be obvious: detective work, aka manhunting. The new 12-issue miniseries comes from the team of writer Steve Orlando and artist Riley Rossmo, and will retell the Martian's origins and have him do some sleuthing as well. Orlando just renewed his exclusivity contract with DC Comics. Orlando, speaking with The Hollywood Reporter, said, quote, "I've been calling this my dream project online for more than a year. I started talking to DC about it at San Diego Comic-Con 2017. He's always been my favorite character since I was younger, so to be able to fire our best shot across the bow of doing an evergreen story with him, it's super exciting. Every day I'm writing, I just believe there's no character I want to work on more." Unquote. The story will see the Martian Manhunter trying to solve a murder that is connected to his origins. Orlando says that he will use this story to flesh out his backstory. Quote, "In the past, John has been too perfect. One of the reasons people have been connected to him is that he was a perfect upright cop on Mars. And yes, his family died, but it was no fault of his own. And then he came to Earth, and he was perfect. Our favorite characters. That's not them, you know. Spider-Man let the burglar go. Bruce Wayne was too afraid to save his family. This book gives John that moment. And that's the keystone as to why this book is the Martian Manhunter story. Because we finally know the why. Why he strives to be so good on Earth. Why has this journey? Because he's never really had one before. All of our favorite characters overcome their faults, and we hope he's going to do it here, but he has to have them first." Unquote. Martian Manhunter #1 hits store shelves in December. Hey, DC Films, how about a Martian Manhunter movie? I can see it now. Tom Cruise is the Martian Manhunter. Okay, maybe not. Not only did Batman Day see the release of DC's new streaming service, but in an announcement from Netflix, we got word that the anime project Batman Ninja will hit the Netflix streaming service on October 26th. The show comes from some of Japan's most acclaimed talents, including director Junpei Mizuki, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, writer Kazuki Nakoshimi, Gurren Lagann, character designer Takashi Okazuki, Afro Samurai, and writers Leo Chu, Super Ninjas, and Eric Garcia, Afro Samurai, who produced the English adaptation. The project is executive produced by Benjamin Melkner and Michael Uslan. The cast includes Batman Ninja stars Roger Craig Smith as Batman, Tony Hale as the Joker, Craig Griffin as Harley Quinn, Fred Tascascaro as Gorilla Grodd, Yuri Lowenthal as Robin, Adam Crosdell as Nightwing/Alfred, Will Friedle as Red Robin, Tom Kenny as Penguin, and Erica Buza as Two-Face. The description is: Batman Ninja takes a journey across the ages as Gorilla Grodd's time displacement machine transports many of Batman's worst enemies to feudal Japan, along with the Dark Knight and a few of his allies. The villains take over the forms of the feudal lords that ruled the divided land, with the Joker taking the lead among the warring factions. As his traditional high-tech weaponry is exhausted, almost immediately Batman must rely on his intellect and his allies, including Catwoman and the extended Bat family, to restore order to the land and return to present-day Gotham City. This is not really my thing, but maybe it's yours. Will you watch? Over at DC Television, we have some casting news for the big December Arrowverse crossover. The role of Mr. Freeze's wife, Nora Freeze, has been cast, and it's someone whom Stephen Amell is familiar with, his wife Cassandra Jean Amell. No word on how her character will be seen in the show yet. Interesting enough, Cassandra Jean is not the first spouse to act in the Arrowverse. The Flash's first Firestorm, Robbie Amell's wife, Italia Reshi, appeared as the villain Shaban or Silver Banshee on Supergirl, though they were not married at the time. While in Legends of Earth, Legends of Tomorrow, Brandon Routh's Ray Palmer / the Atom wife's wife Courtney Ford plays Nora Dark. More Arrowverse casting news for the big crossover. Grimm alum Elizabeth Tulloch will play the Daily Planet reporter Lois Lane. She has had other roles under her belt, including Concussion with Will Smith and Alec Baldwin, Parkland with Billy Bob Thornton, and the Academy Award-winning silent film The Artist. Over on the movie casting couch, you might remember a few weeks ago that Alec Baldwin signed up to play Thomas Wayne in the upcoming The Joker movie. Well, Alec had to drop out due to a scheduling conflict. Now the role of Bruce Wayne's father will be played by actor Brett Cullen. Cullen is known for roles in 2007's Ghost Rider as Barton Blaze and The Dark Knight Rises, where he plays a nameless congressman, and also appearances on lots of TV shows. Just look at his IMDb page. He gets a lot of guest star work, including a guest spot on an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. What can I say? The man gets around. Now, Marvel news. Comics writer Chelsea Cain is at a complete loss. She was in the middle of writing a new miniseries for Marvel centered around the superhero The Vision and his daughter Viv. She had turned in 4 scripts, and pre-orders for issue number 1 were about to come in from Diamond when Cain got notice by Twitter that Marvel had canceled the series with no explanation. The Hollywood Reporter did some digging and found that Marvel's decision to axe the series boiled down to the company wanting to take the characters in a new direction. Marvel so far has no comment about this development. The odd thing is that Chelsea was just writing a miniseries. There was no reason to put that out and take the characters in a new direction later. Or given that she only had partially written, had her rewrite it to their liking. Marvel, Chelsea, if you'd like to talk about this, I'd love to have an interview with this. One, our Marvel side, Chelsea, both, either. Contact me. My information is on the website. The MCU's Scarlet Witch might just be a mutant, after all. First, a little background. In classic Marvel Comics, Scarlet Witch and her brother Quicksilver are mutants, the children of Magneto. However, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they aren't, due to the mutants belonging to the 20th Century Fox part of the Marvel Cinematic rights. But with the deal between Disney and Fox on the horizon, that might change. The Marvel Studios Visual Dictionary devotes a paragraph to Scarlet Witch's powers. Quote, "She may be called Scarlet Witch, but Wanda's powers aren't derived from the occult. Whether it altered her or merely unlocked inside Wanda, the Infinity Stone on Loki's scepter bestowed incredible powers of the mind. Wanda's internal neuroelectric interface allows her to conjure blasts of red telekinetic energy. She can also use this energy to create barriers, levitate and move objects, to communicate and read thoughts by telepathy, and even to manipulate the minds of others." Unquote. Could the latent power that was unlocked be her mutant gene? If so, this would make it super easy to bring her into the current MCU as a mutant when the mutants come home from Fox. The trailer for Captain Marvel was pretty good. Thanks to a release of information from the Louisiana Economic Development Division, we have an idea of what the budget for the movie was. According to documents, the film was budgeted around $152 million, which would make it one of the cheapest Marvel movies to date. However, it's right in line with recent superhero films like Ant-Man and the Wasp and Wonder Woman. A fan of Reddit recently updated a project which chronologically orders the MCU with Avengers Infinity War, and in doing so provide a little math. In order to watch the current run of the MCU from beginning to end, currently the length to watch everything, and that's movies, TV shows, one-shots, the MHIH broadcasts from the internet, related YouTube shorts, right up to Infinity War, will take you 11 days, 2 hours, and 17 minutes. I recommend protein bars, a tank of water, and a commode. The Fantastic Four is returning to the Marvel Comics universe, but where have they been since the end of 2015's Secret Wars? We know where the Human Torch and the Thing have been as they return to the newly reborn Marvel universe. We finally have an answer to where Reed and his family have gone in Fantastic Four number 2. Fantastic Four number 2 reveals that the Richards family and the Future Foundation students are doing just fine. In fact, they're on something of a vacation, a dimensional road trip, as they repopulate the multiverse following its almost complete destruction. The process sees Franklin Richards construct a new universe, and the Molecule Man using his powers to turn that image into a reality. The issue also reveals that vacation time is over. Just as Powerhouse runs out of juice, a being called the Griever at the end of all things, a cosmic manifestation of entropy, breaks through the walls of one of those new realities and kills the Molecule Man, guaranteeing that the multiverse expansion is at an end. Will the Fantastic Four stop the Griever? I'm not gonna tell you. Go read a comic. You know, it's been a while since we've checked in with the man Stan Lee. In a new episode of Stan's Soapbox Presents, Lee digs into the archives for a story from 1980. Lee ended up at the White House during President Carter's administration for the Captain America Youth Conservation Campaign kickoff, and that was held at the White House on Wednesday, October 1st, on the South Lawn. Alongside him were several actors in full costume, including Captain America, Spider-Woman, Spider-Man, and the Green Goblin, and it was the latter of those that presented the biggest problem. Stan recounts that in October of 1980, they were at the White House for the occasion, and the fellow dressed as the Green Goblin, quote, decided to stay in character and went over to Amy Carter and started scaring the kid, making faces. And Amy was terrified, and Stan said, "You idiot, stop it! The Secret Service will shoot you." Anyway, luckily he stopped in time before he became a casualty, unquote. Imagine the headline, Green Goblin shot while Spider-Man and Captain America look on. Spider-Man also has made a cameo in the new Spider-Man game for the PS4 from Insomniac. Early on, Peter meets MJ at a dinner, one that seems to have a frequent spot in the past for them, and this is confirmed by the owner of the diner, who turns out to be Stan Lee, and is thrilled that the two are back together, at least from appearances. Well, of course he is. He's a watcher. Now, let's look at some geek news. The sequel to Zombieland will start filming soon, according to director Ruben Fleischer, talking to Fandango. Quote, "Yeah, we're just at the very early stages, but we have an amazing script, and we're going to start shooting in Georgia in January," unquote. According to the Hollywood Reporter, quote, "The movie will once again put the focus on comic mayhem, taking the quartet from the White House to the American heartland as they face off against new kinds of zombies that have evolved since the first movie, as well as some new human survivors. But most of all, according to the studio, they have to face the growing pains of their own snarky makeshift family," unquote. Alright, there were lots of news of Nintendo. In the most recent Nintendo Direct, a lot of big games were announced, including a new Animal Farm Crossing game for the Switch, Luigi's Mansion 3, new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Fantastic Four Games 7, 9, X, and X2 Remix, an HD upgrade Katamari Damacy, Mega Man 11, and it finally looks like the long-awaited Yoshi game will be released, now titled Yoshi's Crafted World. It's an awesome game. It looks awesome, folks. Just go on YouTube, look it up. I'm in love with this game. There's way too much to go over in this episode, so I'll have a link to a broken down version of the Nintendo Direct in the show notes. Amazon has picked Star Trek IV writers Patrick McKay and J.D. Payne to helm its Lord of the Rings series. According to Amazon studio head Jennifer Salke, McKay and Payne on board the show can move ahead with its development. McKay and Payne have been a writing duo for some time now and have worked on other projects including the 2017 Blacklist drama script, Escape, and Disney's Jungle Cruise. The show will take place prior to The Lord of the Rings and feature a younger Aragorn. Amazon is committed to producing 5 seasons of the show. It's set to begin production in 2021. Only a few weeks after the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences announced that there would be a new category for Best Popular Movie, they've announced that they will be postponing the creation of the award. The Academy said that they recognize that implementing any new award 9 months into the year would create challenges for films that have already been released, and that the Board of Governors continues to be actively engaged in discussions and will examine and seek additional input regarding the category. There will still be changes to the 91st Annual Academy Awards in 2019, including a restructuring and shortening of the length of the telecast to 3 hours. To make sure all 24 award categories will be presented, 6 to 8 categories will be done during the commercial breaks, with the winning moments then edited back into the show. These selected categories will be rotated each year, and the Academy will collaborate with the show's producers to select the categories. They also announced that the 92nd Oscar telecast will be moved up to February 9th, 2020. Also in 2020, the Scientific and Technical Awards will be moved to June, as the technologies honored do not represent achievements within a specific awards year. The 91st Oscar telecast will be held on February 24th. Do you have a loved one who is being held in the grip of the game Fortnite? Are they playing more than paying attention to your needs? Well, divorce them. According to the UK resource site Divorce Online, over 200 different couples have cited Fortnite as the reason for their divorce. According to the site, that's about 5% of the over 4,600 divorces in the United Kingdom so far this year. If you added numbers from the United States into that mix, that number would likely rise. So couples, do you feel your marriage is strong enough to survive the game? Maybe if you can't beat them, join them. Tonight, we are saddened to report the tragic death of Hollywood sound master Frank Serafin, who died on September 12th in Palmdale, California. Frank was known for his work in sound design, editing, and composing for tons of movies, TV shows, shorts, and commercials. His list of credits include Star Trek: The Motion Picture, Tron, Star Trek III: The Search for Spock, Manhunter, Field of Dreams, The Hunt for Red October, The Addams Family, and Tron Legacy. He was also sound designer on the 1983 telefilm The Day After, which was partially shot here in Kansas, by the way, and won an Emmy for its sound editing. He also worked on a few video games as well, including Grand Theft Auto and The Suffering. And he collaborated with such big names as Ravi Shankar, George Harrison, and Peter Gabriel. According to the report by the Antelope Valley Times, who was fatally struck by a motorist traveling west on Palmdale Boulevard. Serafin died at the scene of major head and body trauma. Frank Serafin was 65 years old. We also say goodbye to Al Matthews. Al was best known for his role as Gunnery Sergeant Apone in the James Cameron film Aliens. He was found dead in his home in Spain. Born in Brooklyn, New York, he started his showbiz career singing on street corners, but not long after that he joined the U.S. Marine Corps, where he served in the Vietnam War and earned 13 combat awards and decorations, including 2 Purple Hearts. After his time in the Marines, Matthews moved to the UK and then France, where as a folk singer, he scored a hit with the Paris Tubes written Fool. In 1978, he became the first black disc jockey to join Radio 1 in Britain. He did some acting during the late 70s and early 80s, including an appearance as a fire chief in the So-So Superman 3. He will be most remembered for his role in Aliens in 1986, a role he would reprise for Aliens Colonial Marines game in 2013. He also had small parts in The Fifth Element and Tomorrow Never Dies. Al Matthews was 75. Gary Kurtz, producer of Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back, passed away on September 23rd from cancer. He started out in the 60s as a camera operator, production assistant, and assistant director. He began his producing career in the 70s with the movie Two Lane Blacktop. In 1973, he moved up to co-producer, working with George Lucas on American Graffiti. That would propel him to champion and become executive producer on George Lucas's sci-fi gamble, Star Wars. He would split from George Lucas after the sequel to Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, after the production became way too complicated. He would then go on to produce The Dark Crystal and Return to Oz. In 1995, he stopped producing for nearly 10 years before returning to produce right up to 2016. He passed away in London, England, and is survived by his third wife and his children from his two previous marriages. Gary Kurtz was 78 years old. Finally tonight, we say goodbye to actor Peter Donat, who passed away from complications with diabetes. Peter Donat's most recognizable as guest starring as Agent Mulder's father on The X-Files. He was also an accomplished stage actor, having played Cyrano de Bergerac, Prospero, Shylock, King Lear, and Hadrian VII over the years. He also has guest starred on TV series like The FBI, Hawaii Five-0, Mannix, Macmillan and Wife, Hill Street Blues, and Murder, She Wrote. His biggest movie roles were when Francis Ford Coppola cast Peter as a lawyer in The Godfather, Part 2. Donat also played Otto Kerner in Coppola's Tucker, The Man in His Dream in 1980. He is survived by his wife Maria, 2 sons, 2 stepdaughters, a stepson, 11 grandchildren, and his brother Richard, who is also an actor. Peter Donat was 90 years old. Well, that's all the news for tonight.
Wizard World is closing 2018 out strong with cons in Austin, Texas, Sacramento, California, and Madison, Wisconsin. Wizard World guests this year have included the Winter Soldier, Sebastian Stan, Jason Aquaman Momoa, Ray Cyborg Fisher, and Ezra the Flash Miller in the Justice League movie, Dave Bautista and Pom Clemteef from Guardians of the Galaxy, Natalie Dormer and Sean Bean from Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings actors Billy Boyd and Sean Astin, and fan favorites like Michael Rosenbaum, Jules Satie, Charisma Carpenter, Henry Winkler, and many more. Use our coupon code MULTIVERSE at checkout for 20% off the cost of your tickets. Get your tickets today.
Yep, go ahead and use that code. As I said, there are a few conventions left. Now, be sure to check out our social media, Twitter, and at Multiverse Tom, and on Facebook and Instagram as well. And if you'd like to contribute some money, please do so at ko-fi.com/multiverse or on Patreon as well. Now, I'd also like to ask that you let me go. Okay, let's redo the end of the show. So, pause.
I'd like to thank you for listening to this edition of Multiverse Tonight. You know, one way to support the show is to listen with Radio Public.
Every episode of Multiverse Tonight that is heard through the Radio Public app for iPhone and Android means that we make money so this show can grow. There's a link to our show in the episode notes. Give it a try today. Yeah, give that a try today, and feel free to go to Wizard World as well. Wizard World is closing 2018 out strong with cons in Austin, Texas, Sacramento, California, and Madison, Wisconsin. Wizard World guests this year have included the Winter Soldier, Sebastian Stan, Jason Aquaman Momoa, Ray Cyborg Fisher, and Ezra the Flash Miller in the Justice League movie, Dave Bautista and Pom Clementief from Guardians of the Galaxy, Natalie Dormer and Sean Bean from Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings actors Billy Boyd and Sean Astin, and fan favorites like Michael Rosenbaum, Jules Satie, Charisma Carpenter, Henry Winkler, and many more. Use our coupon code MULTIVERSE at checkout for 20% off the cost of your tickets. Get your tickets today. Yes, and be sure to check out our social media, Twitter, at MultiverseTom, and on Facebook and Instagram. And if you'd like to contribute some money, please do so at ko-fi.com/multiverse or on Patreon as well. And if you're a subscriber, be sure to share us with your friends. And if you're brand new to the show, please be sure to subscribe and leave us a comment and let us know how we're doing. Special thanks to Lobo Loco for our theme music. Thanks for watching Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Now, please exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night.